back.
Sorry. Sorry for the people that were staring at a black screen.
Minor snafu.
I got a phone. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb too, so kind of confused to how that even happened. But we are back. For the ones that come back to follow it up, I don't remember where we really left off.
Well, I was saying in about I'm getting ready to cut this, wind this down, and then no, I'm just joking.
Okay, so no. Yeah, we were talking about how you properly migrate them, right?
Yeah, so
when you want to harvest those castings, and I think
maybe we'll have to do this again just so they can see that process of why I did what I did.
Right, why you separated it.
Why I separated it, how we move them, how I mix the food in. I don't think that this needs to all be done in one day.
No.
However, it would have been cool because then we would have got to the scotch.
Yeah, we could have got to the scotch.
Maybe we'll hold off on that one this time.
Yeah.
We can make it. We can do it again.
Yeah, we can come back.
Yeah, we can do it again. So I'm just gonna finish feeding here.
Unicorn lady, you came back. Thank you, Shirley, for coming back. I appreciate you guys.
I'm just gonna finish this up in here. One thing I will say.
Okay.
Schedule your feeding. It makes
it
so much easier.
That was a question in the chat before I jumped out of it.
Really?
They asked how often do we feed. So now I feed mine. I mean, it varies. To be honest, the book will tell you feed them they can eat 3 times their weight every 3 to 5 days or something like here.
Appreciate it.
They can eat 3 times their weight every 3 to 5 days. Listen, you're gonna figure it out once you get your worms. I can feed mine every 3 days because of the population that I have, or I can feed them once a week. Marcus, how often do you feed yours? Because you kind of had to dial that in yourself too, right?
I follow the same schedule.
Okay.
Just don't feed them as much.
Gotcha.
Right. So if I know that they're going to eat 20 pounds in a month, I'm just using rough numbers, in a week, and I know that my population isn't as much, then I'll just halfen it. But I still want to stay on schedule. So,
right.
And then there's been times when I first started doing it, and I realized I was feeding them too much. I had to alter it.
Okay.
But Saturdays and Wednesdays, Tuesdays, so it's usually Tuesday or Wednesday,
right?
And then Saturday and Sunday. So as long as I hit those days, I feel like I'm good.
Okay.
And then we'll check them. We check them every few days, and if we can tell that they need food, then we'll feed them.
Okay.
But you can't tell that they need food unless you're actually interacting with them.
Right.
So you've got to get down into the soil.
Yeah.
If you don't get down into the soil, then you're just going to keep dumping food because of the way that I mix mine in.
Right.
So I kind of sort of take and bury it.
Okay.
I don't know why. Honestly,
it's your
I do.
way of doing things.
I think because of heat.
So you think it helps them break it down faster?
So as you keep this insulated, like from both sides, it helps up under.
Right.
They generate a lot of heat. Organic material, matter generates a lot of heat, and then it keeps it there. And then again, they don't have to try to climb up on dry stuff.
It's really easy and comfortable for them to get after, which leads to them being more productive.
Right.
Leads to you getting castings quicker,
right,
back into your garden to help you grow.
And if you don't feed them, then as you mentioned to me last time, if you don't feed them, then they think that they're going to die.
Right, so there's a quick trick for you. If you're a beginner, just stick with the beginner tips. But something that I noticed was if I want to increase the population of my worms rapidly, right? I just want to get a lot out of them really quick. I can almost start starving them a little bit. And what happens is they think they're going to die because they haven't gotten any food. They'll reprocess certain things. I've seen them do it. But, the ones hanging out the bottom of my Worm Factory 360, they didn't have any food down there, but they were still thriving, right? You know why? Because they were reprocessing. But if you stop feeding them, it gives them this knee-jerk reaction that, oh snaps, I'm about to die, so let me hurry up and just reproduce. So once I die, the species can live on.
My offspring can live off of me.
Whatever, or whatever it is, right? And worms will die. I don't know what the actual life cycle is for a worm, but I can tell you this: I never saw so much of an impact that I need to look it up. That's what I'll give you. I'm not a worm scientist. I'm just telling you this stuff works. I've been putting it in my garden. I've been making worm tea, spraying it on my lawn, putting that in my garden all season, and you've seen how great my lawn has been and my garden has been as a first-year gardener and a 2-3 year lawn care enthusiast. So,
and then the cool thing too is everything that you're doing is like, I love the name of the kit. Life 360 or
Worm Factory 360.
I don't know where I got life from,
but it is life.
But it's very funny because just like I took what you gave me yesterday that I couldn't use after I chopped it up, I threw it right back into my worm bin. Which at the end of the day, Rob is actually so he's getting some cheap labor off of me because he's actually gonna harvest the worms.
Yeah, I'm gonna take those castings.
Which is perfect because I have no use for them right now.
Right.
But I can watch the process, I can learn the process, and if it's something that I want to do down the line, I've already got a head start. Right. And it also keeps me from having to go out and buy those containers. As my wife said to me, she was like, why do you keep buying containers? And I was like, oh, because they're expanding. She was like, well, isn't Rob going to take them? And I was like, yeah, but until he does. And she's like, oh, another 10 containers. Got it. Another 10 containers. So, but once he takes and
hey, love notes.
And we move that to the half.
Thanks for the new sub. I appreciate that.
We'll move that to the side, and then he'll take half of that weight, and then half of my container is now free, and it just continues. And then, I mean, he gives me back food, so I guess
it's a 360.
It's like 360.
And you're keeping a whole bunch of waste out of the landfills, which that's great, right? And it's just a way of not letting anything go to waste in your little homestead, your little home, your little garden. Oh, okay, yeah, I can just throw these in mine.
I was looking for the container. Oh, you see? He's just throwing the whole things in there because he's got more.
Right.
Show off. Show off, this guy. So,
yeah, I'm just throwing them in there because they'll get after them. And the ones that are moving down right now, so like the cell that was on top probably had about 2,000, 3,000 worms in it. The one on the bottom, that one was loaded. You saw that one. And as they creep down to all that fresh food that I just threw in there, they're going to devour it. It'll be gone in the next month, and then I'll start another tower. So I'm really going to ramp up my worm casting production during the fall, winter.
Off season.
So yeah, during that off season. So when I come into the spring, boom, I'll have plenty of compost on deck. And
that'd be cool.
Just to show you what that looks like before we get out of here, because I know it's getting dark and Marcus tends to disappear at night.
Yeah, I'm old. I go to sleep probably about. It's
not
not 5 o'clock
that.
yet.
I didn't mean that.
I go to sleep about 4:30.
I meant your complexion is a little heavier than mine.
Oh, we back on that. So for those who didn't catch us last time, we started to fade to black. Like nobody could see me. Everybody kept telling me to smile. That didn't work because I hadn't brushed my teeth that day. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's
terrible.
Bad, yeah.
But yeah, as you can see, it was perfect time for me to harvest. And look, when I harvested these, I didn't really have any worms in here. And now there's a whole bunch of worms in here. You know why? It's because the cocoons hatched. That's what happened. Cocoons hatched. So I keep them in this bin, much like that bin right there. I poke some holes on top of it. I throw it in here. You can also throw them in like a burlap bag, and they'll dry out quite a bit. But I like to keep them moist because to me, the more moisture there is, the more microorganisms there are to sustain and whatnot. So the next time we go live, we'll finish this up. We'll finish this up. We're gonna do the worm tea.
That's gonna be.
So we're gonna finish up.
Then that's gonna
you
be
showing
perfect
them,
timing.
right? And then I'll show you guys how I make my worm tea. You can get you a kit started for like $20, $30. Not expensive at all. And grab you one of those jugs. It's actually, I don't know if you can see it. And yeah, you can see it. Let me just get out the way. Yeah. Just put it in the bottom. Yeah. As soon as Marcus, no, not that one. But, yeah. So pick the one up on top. Yeah, and slide it under it. Yep, just like that. Perfect.
I ain't used to all this fancy stuff.
So you see the blue container in the back, that blue tub? That's what I brew all my worm tea in, right there. 17-gallon container. Costs $5, $6 at Walmart, and I brew the tea in that. So that's it. Any last-minute questions before we get out of here? That's a lot of worms. It is a lot of worms. 6A back in the house. Does your guest have a YouTube channel, Dropping Jewels? He does not yet.
No, I don't have a YouTube.
He's talking about doing one.
So that's not why I do this. Right? I don't do it for the views or gram. Right. I actually kind of sort of just do it really to support Rob at first. I do it to support Rob. It gives me an outlet. I think it's pretty fun.
It's dope.
It has been fun.
Yeah.
I'm a creative person in the sense that I could probably make his show or his audience enjoy his show better than I probably could start my own. Right?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I'm being honest. 'Cause, like, I think that's just how it works. Everybody has ambition. When they came out with digital cameras,
Right.
everybody's a photographer now.
Everyone's a photographer.
Everybody's a photographer,
Right.
Right? They don't understand ISO. They don't understand f-stop. They don't understand any of that stuff.
None of
but
that.
they got that camera from Best Buy for $200, and now they're shooting. So,
Yeah.
but you know, I just appreciate your platform. Again, as always, thank you for letting me come out and kick
Yeah,
it.
thanks for coming on and
yeah.
having you. Let's see if we got any other questions. Thanks,
Yeah.
Turf. Great content. I appreciate you, John.
Appreciate
I'm
you.
glad you enjoyed it. We're going to get out of here,
Yeah.
people. Like I said, I'll bring you back. I'll walk you through the worm tea, and we'll sip on a little bit of scotch
Yeah.
next time as well. I'm going to get working on this video. I know I'm like 2 weeks behind, but I gave you this, right? I gave you this.
Which is dope.
Right.
Just as dope.
Yeah, yeah. And I told you, I just have to take a knee because you get burnt out on YouTube.
Twice the amount of effort,
Right.
right? Because
Right.
you got 2 people here now,
Yeah.
but seemed to be less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was
yeah.
easier. So
This is good
yeah.
information. This is
Yeah.
good information. You can do it. Whether it's just a little project that you do with your children at home or with your loved ones throughout the winter while we can't get after the things that we want to get after outside, or for something that you really think about taking serious on the long term to just have less of an impact on the environment by not throwing your waste into landfills or making the compost to give to your cousin that might garden or whatnot. There's a million reasons to start a worm garden. There's even less reasons and excuses as to why you can't,
Right.
because it is very affordable, extremely
affordable.
passive.
Yes.
You don't need to do a lot.
Right.
The more you do is actually probably going to be worse off for the worms. You don't need to be in there every day.
They're not pets.
Leave them alone. Nah, they're not pets.
They're cool, but they're
Right.
not pets.
They're not really pets.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, for a kid, they would be pets.
Absolutely,
Right.
because that's what my
But
daughter
for,
thought.
yeah, right, yeah. And,
But
and she enjoys it.
And she does.
Even understanding that she can't be on top
Right.
of them every day.
Throwing them around the head like a helicopter.
Right, yeah,
We're
you
not
can't.
doing that. It's a little Petey Pop.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So,
I'm thinking about getting into worms, so thank you for the info. Yes, and like I said, just in case no one's done it, I'm giving away one more set of worms to get your worm garden started. And once I get them out to everyone, I'm gonna go live and probably walk those people through it if they're up for it. Or if not, I'll just get on the Zoom conference call with you guys separately, have nothing to do with YouTube. It's really gonna be up to you three. Just email me, my email is in the About section. I'll be sending those worms off this week. And then once you get them, hopefully go get you a container or order you a Worm Factory 360, and now you have the information to start your Worm Factory with me this fall.
Can I jump in and sit in on the Zoom calls?
Yeah.
That'd be
course.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get
get
on
two
there
perspectives,
because
yeah.
you can get two different perspectives. As you saw, we both fed our worms completely different ways.
Right.
Matter of fact, I used to feed mine like he fed his by mixing everything up. If you go and you watch the very first video of me feeding my worms, I used to do that. And then one day I was in a rush and I just threw them in there and and I came back 3 days later, and they were doing just fine. And I was like, well, shoot, I ain't got to do all that.
So now that I've seen that,
Yeah.
and I remember you talking about, weren't you traveling?
Yeah.
You were, or you were doing something
Yeah.
where you had to get it done, but you weren't going to be around.
Right.
So that should have popped up in my mind. But
Right.
now that you've mentioned that,
Super easy.
I'm not going to abandon my method because I
Right.
like it. I'll probably continue to do that when I'm starting a new bin.
Right.
Be real gentle with it. But I mean, as much pollution and stuff that's out there in the world, and they still survive.
Right.
You know,
They did
they're
just
gonna,
fine.
Yeah, they're going to get after it. So.
All right.
All right.
Cool. We got any last cut? I used to keep worms. I know you probably did, Love Notes. Getting a Worm Factory 360. Boom.
It is,
email
yeah.
me, Sylvia.
Yeah.
Hopefully you the first one to email me.
I
And I'll
hope,
get those worms for you this week.
I hope somebody really, really does it a different way.
Yeah.
Even outside of the way that I did it or the way
Yeah,
you did
you
it.
ain't got to do it these
Yeah.
ways. They're worms, man.
Yeah.
They're not super complex. Just keep the temperature right and feed them.
And they're eating the same thing we're eating,
And they're
right?
eating the same
and don't
thing
give
we're
them
eating.
ribeyes. They don't need ribeyes.
Yeah,
They
don't do
they
that.
Like that. All right.
You email me, okay. I hope you're the first one in there, Sylvia. Well, thank you for the guys that came back, guys and gals that came back this evening. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I got a phone call in the middle of the live and didn't realize it. Thankfully, my wife hopped in and told me. Thank Marcus again for coming on
Thank
and
you for having me.
and
Thank
sharing
you.
sharing the evening with us, guys. Yeah. And we probably stay on a little longer, but daylight saving time is over and the sun is gone.
And we got to work tomorrow.
And we got work tomorrow.
We got to work.
Got
So
to
maybe we'll
work.
do this again,
Yeah,
and then we'll do it on a different day,
yeah.
like a weekend day, a Friday or a Sunday.
Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
then we can really, spend some time with the people.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
Cool.
the time that you shared. Thanks for having me. And yeah,
We out.
we out.
We out.